we can control two things: how we prepare for what may come, and how we respond to what just happened.
Yo, indeed.
It's time for tea time.
It's all about my pace, so I bang and see my lane. Treat the plane like a jet. Apple Watch on me, I rock it like it's a protect. What you expect? I'm the elect. It come with respect.
Yo, what it do? You are rocking with the T-Time Podcast, where you talk topics with T. I am your host, Royalty, in the place to be, and I put that on the... No, we ain't gonna say that. We ain't gonna do that. We definitely not gonna do that, not on a day like today, because as some like to say, today is the Lord's Day. So we gonna treat it like the Lord's Day. That's all right, because it's the perfect day for us to acknowledge that it is
Self-Care Sunday.
One day I'll be on top of the world. Yeah, that's just how I feel right now. It feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it feels good.
That's what making plays feels like. It feels good. It feels like winning. This is Classic Talks Podcast, where we subscribe to a next play mentality, one conversation at a time. I am Dr. Classic. Let's talk about it. Yo. Terrence, thank you for the energy, bro. You bring it in. You bring it right through.
Got to. Man, energy is everything. I had just got done saying it before we even got started with this, that, I'm big on vibes, I'm big on energy, and sometimes that's what we got to understand. You know what I mean? That we got to mask that pain sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm glad that we even started talking about this. I'm currently reading this book right here, The Way of the Superior Man.
Okay.
And for you to say that, I'm actually at a part right now, and I just want to read just the beginning insert of it.
Okay.
And it's coming from a man's perspective, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of speaking for myself, and for you to roll in with the energy part, I wanted to touch based on that. And chapter 4, you said again?
I said, cool. I'm ready.
Chapter 4 of this book starts by saying, know your real edge and don't fake it. It is honorable for a man to admit his fears, resistance, and edge of practice. It is simply true that each man has his limit, his capacity for growth, and his destiny. But it is dishonorable for him to lie to himself or others about his real place. He shouldn't pretend he is more enlightened than he is, nor should he stop short of his actual edge. The more a man is playing his real edge, the more valuable he is as good company for other men. The more he can be trusted to be authentic and fully present. Where a man's edge is located is less important than whether he is actually living his edge in truth, rather than being lazy or deluded. And I wanted to bring that part in along with this part too. Number 2, live with an open heart, even if it hurts. That's the one I really wanted to touch base on. I apologize. I did read the wrong one. I'm sorry. But I did want, number 2 is the one that I wanted to. Chapter 2 is live with an open heart, even if it hurts. It says, closing down in the midst of pain is a denial of a man's true nature. A superior man is free in feeling and action, even amidst great pain and hurt. If necessary, a man should live with a hurting heart rather than a closed one. He should learn to stay in the wound of pain and act with spontaneous skill and love even from that place. And that's kind of where I'm at. You know what I mean? We talked, and we dedicating this episode over to a good friend of both of ours, Robb Smith, who just was killed the other day. And it really hurt the city a lot. It really touched a lot of hearts. It really hurt a lot of people mentally. And I know it kind of slowed a lot of people down physically. So to come from that part, I want to kind of to speak out to the men on that part, where I know, with that being a man, you got a lot of male friends, you know what I mean? And I know that we all are in a hurt place right now, but we got to think about those that are around us. And we got to still learn how to love and give the proper energy from this place of hurt. You know what I mean? That way we can help everyone else kind of live their life smoother. What men have to understand in life is that you are naturally born in a position of an alpha. You know what I mean? So your life journey takes you through a journey of being a alpha. And to be an alpha means to be the leader. You know what I mean? And you have to understand that your family and those that look up to you and that are around you, they respond based off of your action. You know what I mean? So for a person to see a man who's hurt in the same situation as everybody else, but you're still able to pick yourself up, humble yourself, and kind of move forward through it, that alone helps those around you pick up and move forward as well. And I just wanted to do that answer. I'm gonna let you go ahead and kind of take the floor for a minute so I can kind of regain myself. But I just wanted to put that out there because it's something that people do need to understand. You know what I mean? We all hurt. We all deal with stuff. You know what I mean? This has been a rough year, period. You know what I mean? And we need to kind of look at this stuff and understand that don't let it break us, but let it make us. You know what I mean? Come out stronger in this situation, not wronger. You know what I mean?
You know what? One, I'm glad. Let me say I really am. I'm always proud of you though. Like, I'm proud of you that you can take this approach to it and be open to saying that you are hurt. We struggle just as a community. We just struggle with being vulnerable. I talked a lot about this on the productive vibe session with Quinn. Like, we have to get to a place where it's okay for our Black men, you know, women, whoever it is, but Black men to be openly hurt. And it's not mean that you're weak. Vulnerable doesn't mean weak. You know, society will play them like they're one and the same or interchangeable, and they're not. We have to get to a place where we can allow somebody to understand that there is a way to offend you. There is a way to hurt you. And just as angry as I was to hear about, you know, about this even happening to the person that happened to, just mad and angry, like, the response has to be a good one. Like, we have to get to a place where we're getting better. We're not, you know, continuously, we don't want to now respond with more of the same. And as men sometimes, and I have a lot of male friends, and I'm not a man, and I can't say, you know, as a man I would do, but, you know, for the men that I do know, like, their first thing sometimes is revenge or react. Like, you control your response, and you can just be a better dude. So it's one more dude not doing what happened to Rob. You know what I'm saying? Like, one more dude kind of connecting the dots for the younger people that's watching. Like, this is not how we conduct business. And the more we conduct it like this, the harder it is for us to grow as a people. And we got to be better. Like, honestly, the biggest thing I can take from it is we got to be better. To me, I thought it was for absolutely nothing. It could have been for so much more and so much better. Such a different outcome, but we have to do better.
Right, and as males, that's another big thing. We have to do better as far as what we teach.
Yeah.
And this goes as far as to how we dress, how we speak, how we move, what we do, what we think, how we respond. This all goes into favor with that, because as we don't understand just how many young men and women are actually looking up to us. Being a teacher, I understand this. You know what I mean? So I always second question a lot of stuff that I do because I understand who's watching.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like another thing that I speak on when I'm speaking on my son. You know what I mean? All it takes is for a child to grab an interest in something one time, and then they figure out how to capitalize it in their life, because they might see that this is what gets you fame, or this is what gets you the attention that I'm searching for, or that I'm trying to get. You know what I mean? And as men, we don't think about that when we go out and we dress according to what we see on TV. You know what I mean? We're not even, you know what I mean? We're doing it in our own way, but yet we're still showing the action of what kids are here, you know, all day long, YouTubing, you know what I mean? So when you dress a certain way and they see somebody else dressing like this, you know what I mean, on YouTube, and then they turn around and the news headline breaks about somebody on YouTube that dresses like this doing something, their mind goes, oh, this is what my daddy do. This is what I got to do. You know what I mean? No, like, we have to break that product of environment. Teach these kids that you are not a product of your environment. You're a product of yourself.
Yeah. And the real thing too is, like, be able to dig in deep enough that we can continue to let, you know, someone like Rob's light shine. Like, instead of doing the negative stuff that got, you know, that was his demise, let's really actually keep doing more of what he did. Like, that art saved me. I understand that there are certain things that we are dealing with that are saving our lives every day. Like that means we need to put our head down and pump more into that, pump more into the life. Like, I really do, really big condolences go out to his family, like his wife, his kids. But just having an understanding that, those kids are going to have to continue. Like they're going to have to, continue to let his light shine and create their own light as they walk through some of this stuff. And I'm just hoping somebody is around to show them those things. Like, I know it's not all for nothing. That's how I'm feeling. That's why I'm so glad for your energy, because I didn't come in with much. Like I was, trying to put it on because, it's Sunday. My whole week was great. This is the worst thing that happened to me this week. And
Sunday. And that's exactly how I look at the Art Saved Me.
Yeah.
That he started and branded and trademarked and was pushing, because that's a product of myself. And in so many ways, all of these brands and all of these slogans and all of these things that we all see and we choose to live by, these affirmations, they all sum up to one thing, and it's believing in yourself. Yeah. Art saved me. Your only limit is you. You know what I mean? Next play mentality. These are all self-titles. These are all self-affirmations for an individual person. And as I was explaining to you before with the Art Saved Me thing, it goes so deep, because Art Saved Me is not just solely sticking with painting or drawing. You know what I mean? We have to look at this and take that and apply it to life as a whole. Anything that we might have in our life that we grow upon from accomplishment, that we take a passion in, this is a form of art. You know what I mean? You have writers, you have visionaries, you have psychiatrists, you have therapists, you have doctors, you have coaches, these are all forms of art, because art is just something that you take and that you put out with your own passion and you turn it into something admirable. And that's exactly what we do when we embrace who we are. We come out and we come into this uniform. We come into this universe as a form of art. You know what I mean? When once we capitalize on the self-individual that we are, that's when we then begin to learn, how to build on that art, how to become our own Van Gogh, our own Picasso, our own Robb Smith. You know what I mean? We take these things and we build on them. Look at what we do. There are people who draw into what we do and they stick with listening to it, because now this is a form of art. Art is a form of expression. You know what I mean? Once you find a way to express who you are, you found your art. You know what I mean? And you let that art save you, because then you don't allow yourself to become a product of your environment, which is in the same lines of being a follower. You know what I mean? Art saved me is embracing the fact that I'm a leader. You know what I mean? I'm standing up for what it is that I want and I believe in, and I'm going to apply it to my life for my gain. You know what I mean? So shouts out to Robb Smith for even putting that into the universe for us to even be able to create a conversation about it, because who would ever think that Art Saved Me would take you to a mindset to believe that you can stand up on your own 2 feet and be something that you never thought you could be. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's Sunday. I sat back.
It's Sunday.
I'm gonna get my offering ready because I'm gonna pay my tithes. Listen, I'm here. I'm here for the conversation. I knew you were gonna be. I knew your energy when I got online. As soon as I seen you pop in, you was sitting up here, you put your little thing together, clicking your mic in. I'm like, yeah, he ready to go. He ready to go.
And it's so crazy because I wasn't home at the time. You know what I mean? Like I had to run out real quick, get my meal prep and everything together for the week. Like I told you, it kind of killed me. You know what I mean? And this is how I know when I'm speaking on men, because I look at myself as I'm not a perfect man, but I'm superior. You know what I mean? I'm more wholesome than most can say they are. And it kind of broke me. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you, like the vibes in the city, you not being here, but I know the vibes in the city, you could feel them. It was just such a sad, gloomy, slow, boring day. Like it was a day to literally grieve. You know what I mean? And it was so horrible. And this stuff that I had to get done, that I got done this morning, is stuff that I could have got done yesterday, but I was physically limited. I was mentally drained, physically depleted. Like I just couldn't do anything because that's how much life I felt was took from me, from a life that was took from us. You know what I'm saying? And today I just had to say, you know what? let me stand up and move forward, because me moving forward can just be enough inspiration and motivation for somebody else to and move forward as well. You know what I mean? So it's hard, it's tough, and it's hard, and it takes a lot of practice, but it's a way of humbling. You know what I mean? Putting your pride to the side and not being selfish, because now you're thinking about other people in the midst of something you're doing versus just thinking about yourself.
Facts. And I guess what's good for us to like think about and truly even ask the people that's paying attention and that's listening, like, what is your art? Like, you gotta tap into it eventually. Sometimes that's where the hope is. I know it is. That's where the drive is. That's where you really fall in love with the process. That's what the whole understanding of next play mentality is. It's about just getting to it. What's the very next play you can make from the spot that you're standing in? What can I do right now? How can I be 1% better today? Like, what's the very next play? And I'm just hoping people can find that art, like whatever it is that's going to save you. Because I feel like I have an understanding of it. So every day I'm getting clearer on it. And the more I pump into this, the more whole I feel. Like it's growing me. It's catapulting me. And I'm really just wanting to help and serve other people. And now, you know, that just brings it back to, that's the whole point. That's what the service is. That's where it's at.
What this has become so important to me, because now it's routine.
Yeah.
And one thing that we all know about routine is when routine gets broken, things seem out of whack. Things seem out of place. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what happened. I can't be mad. You know what I'm saying? I can't be mad that my number one business partner, you know, had to do some celebrating of her own, and she had to get out and enjoy life. And I know we work hard and we need those moments, but I'm over here like this in the chair, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, my routine, and then my guy from Thursdays, you know, he just graduated and stuff, so he doing the same thing, taking some time back to just enjoy and embrace life. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like I did take the time to get some extra stuff done, but like my routine was broken, so it was just kind of like trying to figure out what time and stuff like that. And then, you know, this extra stuff that come in, I wasn't feeling too well throughout the week. I had kind of came down with the Lou. I ain't gonna call it the flu. I came down with the Lou. The F never made it. I beat it. You know what I mean? I was drinking grapefruit juice like it was water. Like,
No F's on my report.
Yeah, none. You know what I mean? So yeah, I ended up getting like the Lou, you know what I mean, midway throughout the week, and I overcame that. Like, today was just a beautiful day. I woke up, I felt refreshed. I was gonna try to like kick it last night and stuff, you know what I mean, go hang out at some spots that Rob hang out, kind of just enjoy the vibe with, you know, fellowship, love with people, you know what I mean, that know him and stuff. But
you made it down to the studio for that art party? Or
the sweater party? No, I ended up, I just stayed in because it kind of shook me up a little bit too. I ain't gonna lie about that. It shook me up being a person up and coming on the rise, doing stuff. You know what I mean? It let you, that kind of hit you where a spot where like, hey, you ain't got to be doing bad for bad stuff. You know what I mean? And it was just, I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna just stay in. And I'm looking at my son. I'm thinking about his kids. Shout out to, you know, his wife and his children. You know what I mean? Prayers go out to you all and the family as well. But I just kind of looked at my son, and you know, when these things happen as a man, I just get to a point where it's like, embrace your child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can feel for his children and stuff. So I just went to the grocery store with my son, and we made Philly cheesesteaks last night. I bought some cookies, and we watched some anime, watched some Christmas movie, just kind of hung out in my room, passed out in the bed, woke up at 3:00 this morning together, turned on another movie. Like, I just wasn't strict or nothing. Like, let's just hang out. Let's just enjoy time real fast. And I think that kind of, my spirit needed it. You know what I mean? To feel that love. If you're looking for love from anybody, you can find it in your child. You just got to embrace it. Do it again.
Dummy.
You knew that. If you are looking for
that is my baby.
You know it. That's why.
It's time for tea time.
I got them both on there. That's my that let me know. That's my energy. You know what I mean? Just to know that if don't nobody mess with me, my kids do. So if you're looking for love in anybody, find it in your kids. And that's what I did last night in my son. I found the love and everything in him to just pick myself up and keep going. Because you hear it from people a lot, but I'll be another person to just say it. Rob wouldn't want us to be sitting back grieving.
Yeah.
It'd be, if you can hear his voice, it'd be, get up, get to that bag. You know what I'm saying? Get up. There's money to make. Get up. You know what I mean? Do something.
That's what's up.
So, you know what I mean? Let's just push forward. Let's just use this as a time to learn. I look at it as an eye opener too. I said in my song, "We're gonna be all right" with my late god brother Randy Brown, who also passed this year. You know what I mean? I've been dealing with a lot of death.
Yeah.
And that's not sitting well. You know what I mean? But in the song that I did with him, I said that too. We got to make a blessing out the lessons that we delivered. You know what I mean? Everything in life that's delivered to us is a lesson. And we got to figure out the blessing in it. You know what I mean? There's always something to learn from a lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Every time.
So when you see something like this is just one of those things that you can kind of sit back and you might can look at yourself and say, as I level up, because that's what I want to roll into next. As I level up, what else am I leveling up?
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's and if you want to kind of vibe with me on what I mean by that, let's go into like Mario, or let's go into these story mode games that we play. You know what I mean? Once we get to certain levels, things change. You know what I mean? The board changes, the mission changes, the boss changes,
Right.
the elements of the environment change. You know what I mean? And look at your life and think about it the same way. When you make that next play, when you make that next step, when you move on to the next level, certain things got to change for you as well.
Man.
And I'm going to use you as an example in this sense. You know what I mean? When you level up, as far as coming from an associate's to a bachelor's, from a bachelor's to a master's, not only did I level up, or not only did you level up, but you also had to level up your environment.
Facts.
Everything changes because now mentally I'm in a different place, and there are going to be other obstacles that come my way that I got to overcome in order to even get to the next level. I don't want to just stop here. It's not about satisfaction.
And look at environment from the standpoint of you have to make sure it fits where you're going. Like your environment has to support what you're trying to do. You got to level your environment up. What is the environment? What do you need in your environment to make sure that you get into it? That whatever it is that you're working on.
Exactly. Because think about, like I said, when you think about Mario, you go through them first 3 levels and it's all good because you ate the mushroom. Long as Mario can get big, I get a second chance to keep pushing through this level.
Right.
But then you get to a level where even if you eat the mushrooms, you got platforms you got to go over and bridges, and there's stuff up high you got to collect. And so now what your environment changed. So the tools in that environment change as well. Now you eating a star that you can get some wings from, and you can just run through the board. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is life. This is how things happen in life. And when you sit back and you analyze a person like Robb Smith's life, that's what you see. You know what I'm saying? The level up. You know what I mean? You started at one place, then you got to another place. And when you got to another place, then you started to make other changes. If you know him, you've seen the elevation in his life. You know what I mean? And this is what happens when you change. You know what I mean? As you level, you got to understand some people might fall off. They might come back, but they might fall off. You know what I mean? Certain things, that house that you always, I love this house. I love this house. Think about my grandmama alone, 38th Street. I love this house. I ain't letting it go, but then you level up.
Level up.
You on your way to retiring from a job you done worked over 40 plus years at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your husband on the brink of ending work. I'm not doing nothing no more. We setting up for retirement now. You know what I mean? So what happened now? Now you ended up off of this block that you thought you were going to be on to the end of time, and now you somewhere else. And then you get somewhere else, and all that did was open your eyes to do what now? I'm not going to make the same mistakes I made with this. Now I'm going to change this because I'm in a position to do this and do that and do that. And this is not the end.
Yeah.
You mess around and end up renting that house out, and then you still got 20 plus years going, and you in them 20 plus years as a realtor, you didn't even, that was never in your plans. Yeah. But as you level up, you know what I mean, progression happens, things change, you know what I mean, and we just have to be prepared for them. You have to prepare yourself for this, and if that means changing your environment, if that means changing the people you hang around, if that means changing the things that you have become accustomed to and comfortable with, you might have to, just to create that elevation that you need.
Should I say amen or should I mean, you want the tambourines? Or? Yeah, man, because when you hit the notes, sir. Yes, sir. I got the notepad out.
Right, that's that. See,
What book are you teaching from, son?
It's the lesson. It's the lesson. We teach from T-Time Podcast.
Thank you.
But yeah, like that, and that's where it was. Like yesterday, I wasn't able to think of nothing like this. Literally,
Right.
like this. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This entire segment rolled to me on my way to the grocery store.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's why in the prayer you're right. You know what I mean? You have to thank the Most High for this moment right now, because you put this in me to put this out, to turn a grieving situation into a situation for somebody to look at and learn from it. You know what I mean? We can't dwell on that. You know what I mean? As much as you want to grieve, no disrespect or none, because that's somebody to me too. You know what I'm saying? But we can't let it hinder what we got to do. Because he wouldn't want you to hinder what it is that you got to do.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. We're going to have to put a button on here that's do something like, Pastor T. I'm going to be like.
Winding it up like.
How many sparrows?
Sunday.
I'm through, man.
I'm glad though that we were able to connect. Like I said, that was a good friend of both of ours, and to be able to connect on our platforms and still find ways to smile and uplift his name. You know what I mean? Keep his name alive. Like I say, people don't understand that when you speak death upon death, you know what I mean? You're creating more death on it. You know what I mean? Let's not look at it as he's gone. He's not gone. The physical form is always something that it's a carcass. You know what I mean? It's to be shedded. It's to be gone. What it was nothing but a shell to hold the beautiful spirit that he really was. And that's what's still here. And that's what you have to understand. So when you embrace those memories and you speak on those positive things, you're keeping the spirit alive. Cool. Don't shade the light. You know what I mean? The spirit is the light. Don't shade the light by speaking death on it. Don't do that.
Yeah. I'm on your side, Pastor T. I gotta be, man. You gotta be. You gotta come. You do. You come out swinging on some of this. Now you shoot a little harder. Now you just making people really want to go into the gym a little harder. Like you gotta rise above the petty, man. You gotta rise above it. And it speaks to a wider lens. Like I'm not giving nobody no credit for being in a bad situation to the point where you just walk up to somebody and do what you did. But we live in a very captive society. And the less time, actually the more time we can spend on just learning, just growing, just wanting better for each other, better for yourselves, starting with yourself, really healing. One of the biggest reasons why we get together and do self-care Sundays is because you and I know that there is a place that you can get to where you can heal, you can be happy, you can have peace. And when I want everybody to get that, and it's really about just moving and making plays. You want to align yourself for some success. You don't want to keep repeating and doing the same things. I wish more people could be themselves. That's honestly what I think it comes down to. I wish more people could just be you, be yourself, be you unapologetically. Get to it, man.
Art saved me.
Man.
Be yourself.
Be yourself. You're out here pretending. And if you are a coward like that, you know what I'm saying? Like if some people do and they rock like that, they rock like that.
And that's exactly how it has to be looked at as a coward. You're a coward if you're scared to let yourself be free. Right. But you want to speak so much on being a slave. You want to speak so much about captivity, but you're not even free in your own skin. Yeah. You got to go out here, man. Listen, don't get me going now, because I tell a young lady quick, right in my face, like, you know what? I appreciate you more without the makeup. I appreciate you more just telling me the truth, because at least it's you being you. You know what I mean? I'm just a firm believer in it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. I can tell somebody in the nicest way possible, I cannot stand your attitude. But you will take it like I said, I love the person that you are. Because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's all about perception. You have to know the person that you're talking to and know how they're going to perceive whatever it is that you got coming to them. You know what I'm saying? But who are you in their life if you don't throw those moments out there? Those are learning moments. Because sometimes it's hard for people to see their self. You know what I mean? So it might take somebody to be like, every time you talk, you should like stop talking so much and listen. You might learn something. Like you be thinking you know everything, and I'm not saying you don't know nothing, but I'm just saying like, you know what I mean? As age go on, you know, information change, you know what I mean? And you should do some research before you speak on, and they'll take that like, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but woo, woo. But if you say that in the wrong form, then that turns into an argument. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you understand the maturity of people that's around you, because everybody can't have those conversations.
That part. I was going to say that the perception thing is huge. Like I got to a place where I stopped. You got to stop arguing with people when you know that their perception isn't going to change and they're only going to see the world the way they are.
Indeed.
So,
right, Jack.
I'm with you. Like conversations allow people to see levels of maturity. Like we don't have to agree. Some people think that not agreeing means we are in conflict. We are now engaged in battle. No, we just don't agree. You said it your way. I said it my way. It is what it is. That's not something I'm going to adapt. It's not something you're going to adapt. We just going to agree to disagree. That's a real thing. We say it a lot, but we don't move past the disagreements.
Exactly. Listen, Apple and Samsung don't agree.
Yeah. They both sell TVs.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, they on the same thing, but it's just like, oh, you think the marble screen better? Watch this plexiglass screen. Right. Like, but whatever. Who said you wrong? I never said you wrong, but I just see it differently. But a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people, ego leaves a lot of pride on them to be, I have to be right, or I got to get the last word, or it just has to be about me. No.
Yeah, I spoke a little bit about this. Like, think about it. Some easy concept. 5 + 4 is 9.
Right.
But so is 6 + 3. I mean, I got to the same spot you got to, and just let me do it my way.
That's dope.
What I mean? And then for you, let somebody else do it their way, because sometimes it's us that's holding people back. Let them get their 6 + 3 off. You did your 5 + 4. I mean, I'm in a coaching session right now. And that's part of the issue, is that person wants the control over how it happens. And when I say stuff like, yeah, I mean, how many dollars you got in your pocket? 10. You got a $10 bill or 2 5s? I got a $10 bill. I got 2 5s. It's the exact same thing. You know what I mean? Like, as long as, now if it's not detrimental or moving you off your goal, let people have their route in doing stuff. Don't nobody got the answer. There is no the answer. There is an answer.
Answer.
Figure it out.
Come on now.
Sunday. It's Sunday.
Come on now.
Here you go. Let me be the deacon and go and throw it. Go and give it to the clergyman. No, I got you, man.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that parable so much, because now and that's what I do. I like to speak a lot in parables, because the Bible does say that too. Peter asked Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Why is it that you are speaking to the people this way? And he said, it's best to speak in parables because it's better for understanding. Everybody don't understand. You know what I mean? Everybody don't understand the words you understand. And like I always tell people, we all learn differently. But you can't get away from that breakdown. Like, what? What's 5 + 4? 9. What's 6 + 3? 9. You see how the answer is the same, but it's 2 different ways to get there? Yeah. I'm saying people wrong. You just got your way. I got my way. But at the end of the day, if we get the same solution, then we need to be connecting together. Right. Because maybe we could take your 5 + 4 with my 6 + 3 and understand that we could take 5 + 3 and take away 6 and add 4 and still get, you feel what I'm saying? Like, but people don't want to do that.
A whole new equation.
Yeah, people don't want to do
new outcome. I'm with you.
And this is how the China do math. You know what I'm saying? Like, they break down every possible way to get the answer, because there's so much life in numbers.
I don't know.
That's another thing too. When you talk about numbers, there's so much life in numbers. If you really want to understand them, you know what I mean? To understand yourself, you can go in that direction.
Yeah, I know you big on numbers. I feel like I get to a place where I have to make sure I'm not overanalyzing the numbers, but I do give myself a reminder that, hey, you've been seeing 417, like, and that's my birthday. You've been seeing 417 and 11:11. Man, I catch it every time, and I just pray every time. Whatever it is, God, that you're trying to show me, reveal it. Let me see what you're talking about.
And that's what I go. I'm not a big person that believes in coincidence. You know what I'm saying? I believe everything kind of happens for a reason. You know what I mean? There's a reason for everything. And that's one of those things, like, just to keep, like, a person like me, I come into contact with 444 so many ways, you know what I mean? The number 4 alone in so many ways. And I lean so much on the number thing just off the numbers have been around since the beginning of time. Right. Numbers were here before letters were, you know what I mean? Letters are symbols, you know what I mean? But numbers were here even when the creator was doing what he had to do. Right. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You had to work with numbers. So I feel like numbers in some form of way are another dimensional way of communication. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, even when they talk about the matrix, they use number system. You know what I mean? Even when you do coding, you're using a number system. You know what I mean? Numbers, like, make up so much stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like they just align life for a lot of people. You know what I mean? If you are aware of numbers, you know what I'm saying? And you can just kind of read them out and see what the meaning of them is. You know what I mean? It could be a way of being in contact. And as people become more spiritual, they start to have more encounters with numbers. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why. And I'm like, okay, so that got to mean something. You know what I mean? It's either you paying attention or you just not paying attention. You know what I mean? But how many times can you really say in your life that you came in contact with something? But then once you started to get onto a spiritual journey, now all of a sudden something just starts to show itself to you more.
Right. You ain't wrong. I get it. I always listen to you when you talk about it, because I know you got a real big connection on it. I feel, I bounce around. You know what I do believe in, and we talked about it before. It may not be numbers in a sense, but I do believe that God gives it to you in, like, different rapid fire, like that concept of you looking for a car. You never really noticed it, but once you're trying to buy one, you see it everywhere. That concept, like, he just continues to shoot it out in all these different multitudes. Like, I could be looking for something, it might be 11:11. I catch that on this night. Then something pop up and I ride past, and it's this billboard. I went the wrong way, had to turn around, and when I turned around, this billboard is right here, and it got the same message on it for me. Then I'm watching a sermon or something, chilling, and I'm like, oh man, it's in the sermon. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all these different ways he just continues to put it in your face, put it in your space until you follow it. Because I know that I'm just a messenger. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not my word.
Right. Always. And that's why I do more of the looking into it and the practice of it on my own. Like, I throw my stuff out there to people, you know what I mean? But I don't really force it, like, yeah, bro, you should really look into nah, this is a me thing. I do it for me. It's for my understanding. Everybody's gonna understand differently. Peter, Paul, Matthew, Mark, John all had a different experience. You know what I'm saying? Right. So how can you expect to have the same experience as somebody else? You know what I mean? But I feel like these are all ways to find a way for you to be connected to the higher source. You know what I mean? If you need church on Sunday to be connected to that, you go right ahead with that. If you need the Moors to help you get connected to that, then you go ahead with that. If you need numbers, you go ahead with that. If you need the chakra energy system, whatever. But at the end, the ultimate goal is we all connect to the higher source of creation. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how you do it. And I really don't feel like there's a right or wrong way. You know what I mean? But I just feel like it's all in what you come with it. Because at the end, who's to say, like we just was talking about with the solution, who's to say what's the right and what's the wrong way? You don't know what it is. And the only person that does know it will never be able to tell us, because they're in another dimension. You know what I mean? And they just like, oh man, I knew it was this, or I was wrong the whole time, but whatever. But until then, you just push forward. You live your life the correct way. That's what I feel like it all boils down to. Just live the correct way. You know what I mean? It's
service people, man.
It's the balance of laws of the universe, of life, law of attraction. You attract what you give out. So if you do, you got some negative things going on about yourself, you cannot be mad when you got some negative things that start to happen to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about what you dished out, and that's where that perception becomes important, because that's accountability. Having to be accountable for something that you're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Like, this is what relationships go bad. And because if you just bring a little bit more honesty into your relationship, then you'll honestly see how it can change for the better. You know what I mean? You know you messed up. You know you went out with Bobo and them last weekend, but you left with Kiki. You know what I'm saying? And Bobo know he lied for you. So Bobo might get the worst end of it, because the Bible does state that a liar is worse than a thief. You know what I'm saying? So for you lying for him, now you going to get caught up in a situation, and that situation ain't going to do nothing but bounce back off you. So now you and Bobo messed up, and then you messed around and find out that you lost the greatest thing that ever happened to you all off of a lie. and an action, a choice. Have some accountability. Because if your woman bring that situation to you and you open your mouth and you like, all right, it wasn't supposed to go like that. As a man, it hurts. Don't get me wrong, because you don't want, who wants to get bashed? Who wants to get, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you got to think about this before you take these steps and you do stuff in life, because this is the kind of things that you have to look forward to. That's love. Logically overviewing everything. You know what I mean? If you love your woman, you're going to logically overview every action that you're going to do. Ooh, if I do this and she find out, I'm gonna just go on to Denny's and I'm gonna go home.
Is that your definition of love for real?
Yeah.
Logically
overviewing everything before you can tell. But the way I look, before you can honestly give love, you know what I mean? Give love to something, you have to understand it. You know what I mean? Like, your child is born, you love that child. Because you logically overview what as a parent. I have to do this, I got to do that, I got to nurture, I got to take care, the pros and the cons you're accepting with this child. Can't nobody tell you nothing. It's my baby. I got this. I love my baby. But we go into these relationships and we be with a person 4 months and they give us a temporary feeling. And that temporary feeling rolls us into what? Shawty, I love you. Do you? You love Shawty, but you can't deal with Shawty's aggression. You love Shawty, but you can't deal with the distance that Shawty needs sometimes. You love Shawty, but the way that she communicates, you can't even understand it. You didn't logically overview the situation, but you sitting here trying to give love to something that you can't even receive it from. Come on now.
I think I get what you. Okay, hold on. Let me get the. So I think I get what you're trying to say. I think what at first spent me was when you think of love, the last thing it is logical. When I think of love, the last thing to me it is logical. But we're saying similar things in the sense of, you know, like you really do want to make sure certain things are lined up. You want to make sure there are safety nets in place. You're looking at love from a unconditionally, I'm going to also put safety net and insurance around you type of deal. So I was just thinking of logic because I'm thinking there are some things that when you think of love, like a lot of it is not logical at all. Sometimes you don't even realize how you arrived at the place that you arrived, how you can feel for some people the way you feel for them, how you can love a baby that you don't know, but it's your baby. Like love is so unlogical. So I was going in that place, but what you're saying makes sense. Like you getting into a place where you're going to make sure that by what's in your power to do for somebody, you're going to get it done. You're going to make sure that happens.
Right. Because, and when we look at that, you got to understand there's different areas of it too. It's like, I got love for this or I'm in love with this too as well. You know what I mean? Like it's so many ways. Like we can do a whole love course if y'all want to talk about love. And that's kind of where you go with this, the situation that we're kind of dealing with right now in the world. If you got love, logically overview everything that's going on, and revenge and retaliation behind bad acts is not a form of love, and you're doing it in the name of somebody else, and it's not out of love. You know what I mean? That's off of your own personal emotion.
I spoke a little bit about this week. I had a conversation where we were talking about having a response. When you love someone and you are like how you talked about it, you take some time to think about how you should respond. And if you can respond differently, man, you are healed. You are feeling better. You do, you know what I mean? Like you get to a place where love can be unconditional. I was thinking about it. I had a conversation before a while back, and I was thinking like love is one of those things where even when you're mad at somebody, you got to still love them. Like being mad don't constitute being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Being mad. Yeah. It don't constitute.
I'm gonna clean up that room.
Snap.
You want pizza for dinner? Like, come on now.
Stop screaming. Stop yelling. What you yelling for? Mad as fuck. And then I was talking about vulnerability. Somebody scare you. Y'all been scaring each other in the house all week. You ain't really been getting scared. Somebody really catch you. You scared like, what? Don't scare. I'm through playing. I ain't playing no more. Be vulnerable, man.
And before we take this out, I do want to throw this out there too. I feel that's what 2020 was about too. 2020 was about love. Because you had to lock in
Yes.
wherever you at with whoever you with. You feel me? Like 2020 forced you to face yourself.
And I thank 2020 for that. That's a good thing. Hey, applause. Thank you.
Yeah, 2020 made you face yourself. Because
better person for it.
And I go there with that far as from, and I'm speaking on a man's behalf of it, because like I said, we are leaders. So your household follows whatever the alpha is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing, this is the tempo that's set. You feel what I mean? Locking in, you had to look at everything that you set in your household. So you got to see your kids in that 8 hours of the day that they usually gone. Now you got to see it, because you know kids on the thing with their friends and stuff, and they still trying to. Oh, you don't act like that around your mom and them. No, we still trying to. You had to see your kids.
Yeah.
You had to see how much they eat in real life.
Oh my God.
Your woman at home, she's working from home, or you working from home now. So now you got to see that element of how busy somebody is. You know what I mean? Like, you really had to just face yourself.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of, you know, I got clients and I got people I talked to. There was a lot of separation in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't do this.
Man, it was a lot. It was a lot of grow strongers. It was a lot of grow strongers.
It was a lot of time being took away. You know what I'm saying? And now that time was given back, and you learned that she can't cook, and you said,
man, that's how she clean. That's how she clean up on.
You feel what I'm saying? It's a difference when y'all always on the. But now it's like you wake up in the morning, you done learned a whole bunch of stuff. Like, dude, her breath reek in the morning, bro.
Oh my God, dude.
I can't. You feel me? I can't with her, bro. Her breath in the morning, bro. Then she do this little thing with her feet, and her feet make this little.
Oh my God.
Like, you had to learn all this in 2000.
It was rough for you, huh? It was rough. It got rough. It got rough.
I'm not speaking from experience.
It got rough. I didn't get it. I hope people made some decisions to leave them feet and them problems and them sheets by themselves.
But
the toxic relationship ended in 2020. It's over.
But one thing I want to enforce to people is make sure that you're preparing yourself the correct way. 2020 has also taught you to prepare for everything. Prepare.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
We can control two things: how we prepare for what may come, and how we respond to what just happened.
Indeed,
that's right, Jack.
We can control those two things.
And I spoke on that because with so many distractions that we all, I'm not gonna call them distractions, with so many priority things that we all have to deal with in our own life right now, that a lot of stuff that people aren't paying attention to. But by us doing what we do, you know, we kind of dive into every aspect of news, whether it's worldly or it's cultural or it's psychology or whatever. We know, I mean, we just kind of dive in and look to learn. And over in the UK right now, there is a mutated coronavirus going around.
Is it UK?
Yep. And they have shut down. I think London has it. I think so, or something. They have shut down something already because this new mutated coronavirus is 70% more transmissible. So it's like, don't yawn by me.
And what happened with the thing? You know, India too. We can't skip past that. Did they ever figure that out? I just didn't see it no more.
And that's what it is. It just stopped being talked about because now they're talking about this. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, you've seen how this supposed to have started in China and it came all the way over here. So this is my theory. I don't want to lean too hard on this because Tuesday we got to get back to that conversation we was having.
Oh,
so we're gonna talk about this on Tuesday, but I'm gonna throw this in the air for you though.
Okay.
My theory on this is this: y'all don't want to take the vaccine. So here's the mutated coronavirus. And this one is worse than the original coronavirus. You have a better chance at defeating this virus if you take the vaccine.
So it's a gimmick to get them, because what they are failing on is these public vaccinations that's happening where they doing all the fake probing and they ain't pushing the needle down, ain't nothing in the. I don't know if this stuff is real or unreal, but I just know as a culturally, medicine has not been tested and treated for us. It hasn't been something where the Black community has been considered all the time, right? They are people and we can look this up in statistics. Our kids die at a worse rate when they're vaccinated than other cultures. And I just, for me, it's one of those things where because we have mishandled our leadership and the guidance we're supposed to get for a country, and because we have always been least considered, I just can't trust anything that they're giving me. I don't care if there's a mutant ninja turtle that's gonna come from the UK. I'm just gonna sit in the house like I've been doing. If I can't, I just have to figure it out. And when I cross that bridge, let me just keep working right now. So when I cross it, I'm prepared. You know what I mean? Because I can control what I kind of prepare for.
Right. And I had like conversations with some people and they like, yeah, I'm taking the vaccine, bro, because I just want to get back to my life. And it's like, yeah, that's how they get now. Let me get back to my life. And people got to understand this too. This is another thing for people to think about. Let me put this in there as well. When it comes down to this vaccine, you got to be ready for some sacrifice, because you can't say you're not going to take the vaccine and they're already allowing permission for these jobs to say that they don't have to employ people that don't have it. You know what I mean? And they're got to figure out ways to be able to show it. So it's supposed to be like a mobile app document or something. It's so much stuff that's being talked about with this right now. And it all sounds like revelations to me.
People will just have to understand what their constitutional rights are.
I said it all sounds like revelations to me.
Facts.
What?
I said it all sounds like revelation. No.
What?
But
people will just really have. Hold on, let me play it. Facts. Okay. Stop playing.
I'm sorry.
No, seriously. People just gonna have to read right now. People gonna have to understand law. They gonna have to really get into a place where they understand what their constitutional rights are. They can't make anybody take immunization. They can't. You know, your constitutional rights, you could stand on the same side of the house as somebody with $1 billion and you have $1 in your pocket when it comes to the rights. So we look at it that way. Right. So if enough people go in charged and know their rights, it's a much different conversation. When you're knowledgeable, it's hard for people just to tell you anything. So I'm not saying you got to be educated. I'm not saying that if I'm in front of a cop and a white person's in front of a cop, we get the same, you know what I mean, outcome. I'm not going too far to the left, but I do know if I understand my rights in the situation, I know what's constitutionally being taken away from me. I can fight for that. I can show due diligence and do prejudice to what's happening to me. So I'm just saying we got to know what our rights are. If you're one that don't want to take this vaccine, know what your rights are. So when you get in a situation, whether it's employment, whether it's, you know, parenthood, whatever it is that's happening with your kids in their schools, you know what you can and can't do. Don't let somebody just tell you what you have to do to be able to walk in their doors, sit at their seats. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do.
All factual information.
Yeah.
All facts. Well, you know, it's always a pleasure when we link up on a Sunday.
Well, let's get this audience call going. Let's turn it in. You know what? This audience call, and it's a special one for both of us. It's a special one in general. This audience call is for people whose art is saving them. You know what I mean? Like, this one is for the folks who are really leaning into what it means to understand art and the many, many blessings that are in the many, many passions, why purposes that are inside of these arts. I'm hoping that people who are listening are understanding that art is saving you. You know what I mean? Art is going to be the thing that saves you. And once you find out what your art is, and it doesn't have to be on a canvas. It doesn't have to be through a picture. It can be through a mic. It can be through creative content. It can be through health. It can be through working out. I mean, it could be through you crunching numbers because you're finding people bottom dollar for what they have going on. Educators who are teaching people about their rights and constitutionally what you are due, your due process. So we're just looking for people who are really understanding that, you know, art is saving us and that we are blessed, you know, to be able to continue to spread our art to everybody.
Saved me. Art saved thou. And I'm going to continue to push that forward. keep that art movement going. Even if it's any form, even if you feel you're not the best at whatever it is that you're doing, you still got to understand that what you're doing is art, and it's something that you're doing that somebody else out there is not able or capable to do. As always, it is
Self-Care Sunday.
And you are rocking with the T-Time Podcast and Classic Talks Podcast. We would like to leave you with the acronym that's peace, positive energy, always creates elevation.
One day I'll be on top of the world. Yeah, that's just how I feel right now. It feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it feels good.
That's what making plays feels like. It feels good. It feels like winning. This is Classic Talks Podcast, where we subscribe to a next play mentality, one conversation at a time. I am Dr. Classic. Let's talk about it.